essential to long life, and there are foods you can eat that actually fight brain deterioration. Kristin Kirkpatrick, a dietitian at the Cleveland Clinic, is here to give us the best foods for your most important organ, your brain. So, Kristin, what are some of the key ingredients to nourish this precious brain of ours?
Well, Dr. Oz, you see here some key buzzwords: antioxidants, omega-3s, healthy monounsaturated fats. They all have a multitude of health benefits, but the key point is that they can powerfully all nourish our brains as well.
Well, let's get right to it. Susan, thanks for joining us. We're going to go through a little process here. I want you to show me what's under that first brain. That food is the first one we're going to talk about today, and it is lentils.
Ooh,
Did you pick those yourself?
No.
Do you like lentils?
I don't know.
All right. Here, you taste the lentils. And Kristin, tell us why lentils are so important for the brain.
Well, lentils are great for the brain because they provide us with that steady stream of glucose, and glucose is the #1 fuel our brain is looking for when it needs energy.
While you finish swallowing,
Thank you.
you like it or not?
It's not bad.
All right. Keep swallowing. Okay, now, here's the deal. Normally, when you take a food into your mouth, it has sugar in it, energy in it. It has one impact, which is to go to your brain, because your brain can only take sugar. Doesn't want fats, doesn't want proteins. Your brain needs sugar in order to function fully. So when you eat lentils, because there's sugar in lentils, but the right kinds of fuel, the glucose, it comes with the fiber and everything else, it's slowly released in there. The brain can use the glucose to be able to make new thoughts happen and discover new ideas. That's how you beat off Alzheimer's. So again, you had the lentils, and you got a golden goal. Now, many of us don't eat foods that have glucose, sugar, mixed with fibers and other nutrients, so it's like this car. Instead, sort of struggles along, never quite makes it. And for that reason, you don't have to get up and go to come up with new ideas, new thoughts. You don't form new connections between your neurons. You don't fight off the ravages of Alzheimer's. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Great. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Let's go to my next brain food. Welcome. Let's take a brain food #2, Deshawn.
Okay.
And it is, what is that?
No.
Have you ever heard of chia seeds?
No. Yeah. Chia, they make the plant grow.
Yes. You know, you make the chia head, they put it in the clay pot. You know. Here, you taste some of this. See what you think of it. Trust me, I'm a doctor. It is actually the same stuff. Explain what chia foods are.
So chia is a beautiful source of omega-3 fatty acids, and those omega-3s actually nourish the brain by aiding its communication between cells.
And you know, they used to put them in those plants because they're hardy and they grow well, but they're actually very commonly found in some parts of this continent and South America, and a wonderful tool because it gives us so many nutrients at once.
Okay.
Deshawn, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Louise, how are you? Let's see brain food #3. All right, I'm waiting with anticipation.
Okay.
Ooh, I recognize these. Brazil nuts. Why Brazil nuts?
Brazil nuts are a great source of monounsaturated fat, vitamin E, but most important, magnesium. Magnesium is needed for those signal transmissions, and the brain needs that in order to communicate to the body.
Help yourself.
All right.
It's the least I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, let's go to brain food #4.
Okay.
Rose,
Yes.
let me ask you, how many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
1 to 2, depending on the day.
You think that's good or bad for your brain?
I think it's good.
Why?
Because it wakes me up.
Wakes you up. You know what?
Gives me a little bit of energy.
You're right.
Right?
Let's look at brain food #4.
Okay.
Go on, let's see what it is in there. And it is
Coffee.
Coffee.
Okay.
Now, why? I mean, you know, spend so much time in this country worried about coffee. Why would coffee and the caffeine in it be valuable to the brain?
Well, one really interesting study found that caffeine in coffee products actually helped the brain to protect the fail-safe coating that it has. And that coating actually helps to protect against damage and unwanted materials to get into the brain. So this study found it to be very protective of that and actually securing the brain from these damaging effects.
You see this model back here? It's actually a coating on all these surfaces, a very thin coating that separates the brain from the body. And that brain-body barrier protects it from being injured by many of the toxins that get into our body. When that gets damaged, caffeine can help repair it or slow the damage to it. The other thing is, what you said is absolutely right. Caffeine wakes you up. And when you're awake, you learn. And when you learn, you make new connections, you beat off Alzheimer's. That's what this is all about. If you can find it early on and warn you, at least you can really focus on where your weaknesses are and prevent it from hurting you.
Sure.
Right? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Kristin, wonderful job as always. Go to DrOz.com to download your best brain food. Print it out, put it on your fridge, remember it, and eat them. We'll be right back.
up next.
How many